Hi, everyone.
Hey, Darren here.
Welcome to the White Hatter YouTube show. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of updates.
Some concerning but yet funny things to talk about at the same time.
Interesting things sure did happen this week.
I mean, there's no doubt that COVID is changing the equation on a variety of different things, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be an interesting one today for sure.
So let's talk about some updates.
Yeah, what have we done over the past week?
Last Thursday on our YouTube channel here, we posted another interview with two educators talking about their experiences and challenges in these times.
Yeah, it was a really good interview. It's getting a lot of really good hits right now on our YouTube channel, one of the better ones. These two, Ali and Dana, were just amazing. Both are high school. Ali was a school counselor. Dana is a physics teacher at high school, and I interviewed them about how is COVID affecting their profession and what are they doing to adopt, not just them with their students, but also with their peers and family. Just a wonderful and just an awesome interview. I call them the dynamic duo because that's what they were. So go to our YouTube channel, check it out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on that channel as well. So check it out. Really good interview. One of the favorites I've done.
And then a new blog was released as well.
You know, we love TikTok. I think there's some really cool things going on TikTok. A lot of really ingenious, inventive, and just mind-blowing things that some teens are doing on there for sure. But there's also some concerns. But one of the things that you brought to the attention of the article that we talk about is not just TikTok-centric. It's happening on other videoing or streaming platforms as well. But this is an important one, I think, for parents to know so that they can talk to their kids more about how sexualized behavior is being objectified by those who want to abuse it, right? So check it out. This one is on our in our blog.
Link will be in the description.
In the description right there. So have a look at it. You can also find it on our Facebook page. And what's our Facebook page?
The White Hatter Team.
White Hatter Team. So check it out. Really good article. Getting a lot of hits right now.
And then we posed a question on Instagram to those followers on that platform, asking them of those who are in school, how many of them have received an inappropriate sexual message, solicitation, or other offer online since school has kind of closed.
And one of the things I've learned from you, this is strictly non-scientific. It is anecdotal, right?
Yes.
Where we're only targeting those teens, mostly teens, who are following us on Instagram. And one of the reasons I did that was because we've been hearing from a lot of people that teens right now are just being inundated with this stuff at an epidemic level. And I wanted, is it really? And what's interesting was that 27% of them said yes, 73% said no. So Brandon, can you kind of put this into perspective? Because you did it with me the other day. Because again, I'm the neophyte when it comes to academics and research and that kind of stuff. You're the professional. This is important, but it's not important, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it gives a snapshot of those who responded to us to show, something is happening, but it doesn't really tell us what exactly is happening. And because I mean, it's not a huge population we sampled, and only a certain amount of people will actually see this question because Instagram filters things.
Now, one of the things I asked you though is that we've been seeing in media anecdotally that a lot of police departments, not just in our country, but the US and in the UK as well as Australia, just saw one today from Australia, have said that they've seen a spike in the number of these types of incidences taking place that weren't taking place prior to COVID hitting. So is there a relationship there, right? So that's what's of interest to me is, has COVID, because more kids are online, have we seen an increase because those who want to prey upon our kids know that, or is it just that there is more kids online, which now is going to equal more people reporting it? Right?
Or is it more people just willing to report?
Yeah.
I mean, are these numbers the same numbers that we saw years ago, but there's just more people
I think reporting? I sent you an article where the most current peer-reviewed research I found from an academic resource was that it was 2018, was they found that 11% of teens between the ages of 12 to 16 years of age were targeted online for sexually inappropriate behavior by somebody who they didn't know. 11%. So reality, rare, 11%, right? Like it's so, if you look at this number, it's a little higher because it said 27%, but smaller cohort, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they obviously surveyed a much wider population, and you're more likely going to get people who respond. Like for people who responded to this one, there are going to be certain influences in terms of why they did and why they didn't respond.
No, fair enough.
And in regards to what we saw with law enforcement seeing that they've reported a spike, is that because there's been a decrease in other types of crimes?
Good question.
And there's more resources going towards online now?
Interesting, right? I'm going to ask. We have an interview with the Chief of Police of Victoria Police tomorrow, where I'm going to actually pose that question, right? So it's interesting to me because one of the things I have seen is I have seen more teens reporting to us that they're receiving messages on places like WhatsApp and Instagram for people asking them to become sugar daddies, right, or sugar babies, sorry, and that they didn't see prior to COVID hitting. Like they were there, but not to the degree they're getting hit with now. I actually wrote a small article on that very issue. It's on our Facebook page. Again, what's our Facebook page?
White Hatter Team.
So check it out on our. But it was interesting, right? So it's a concern for sure, but I don't think it's at the epidemic levels that a lot of maybe some special interest groups want us to think it is, right? So yeah.
A little behind the scenes.
Oh, look at that.
We've done a couple upgrades to the studio in preparation to be doing some more webinar type programs. So look forward to that.
You've worked your butt off on this, right? Like you really have. And the reason is I mean, 2 years ago you came up with this idea of having this virtual studio going, right? And here it is.
And my final plans were to be set in about 8-ish months. Things got pushed a little sooner.
But we got the time.
True.
We got the time. We're not in schools right now. So, but this is really going to help us launch, I think, the webinars that we're going to be doing, right? For parents, students, teachers, businesses, all kinds of people that we're going to be doing, right? So
more details coming soon on that.
Very soon. Ding ding. Make sure you tune into our webpage. What's our webpage?
The White Hatter.
Whitehatter.ca.
Talk about some news.
In the news. In the news.
Interesting thing that you came across, I think it was on TikTok, right?
It was.
This video here.
Yeah, this is when I saw this video before you get a lot of parents talking about kids are spending too much time behind their screens. It's got no relevancy in today's real world. How we got to get these kids out into the environment outside more to do stuff. Well, here's a really good example where technology is combined with the environment. Like, look at this. This is a tractor.
Yeah, like this is in traditional farming.
It is. This is in Saskatchewan. Remember, we went to a farm in Saskatchewan where we saw a tractor just like this. But watch, how many screens does she have there? Five screens.
About five.
Five screens. And look, multitasking that she's doing there. It's just unbelievable. A really good example how being a good digital citizen, understanding technology has direct application to real world.
I mean, you could probably fly the Starship Enterprise in that setup.
When I first saw this, I thought it was an airplane, to be quite honest. And I went, hold on a second here. That's a tractor. That's a tractor. Just unbelievable. And she's gotten so many hits on this. Like, she never thought it would get all the hits. And I think people are so impressed with how she's able to multitask in a moving tractor to do what it is that she's doing, right? And she's a older teen, right?
Uploading all of our planting data, all the
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Interesting news story that spread around the internet.
So, quick question: do you have pants on right now?
I do have pants on right now.
This guy didn't.
Now, I mean, the official story, his response was, what he's actually wearing here is workout shorts.
Yeah, whatever.
Which are generally traditionally tighter and shorter.
Yeah, whatever.
But I mean, okay. But I mean, the optics of the situation doesn't look good.
Do you know who he is?
No, who is he?
He's Christopher Reeves, the star from Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man, Superman. That's his son.
Oh,
that's his son. But this is a really good example and I've been seeing people for several weeks now joking about the fact, hey, are you wearing pants? Are you wearing pants? Well, here's one that came to life, right? He's on Good Morning America. And he's doing his shot for the news, and he's wearing these things, right?
Yeah.
And people picked up on
workout shorts.
Yeah, whatever.
Is the official story.
Yeah, workout shorts.
What? They apparently were going to work out after the interview.
Yeah, and, I'm thinking maybe just boxer shorts, right? But still, I mean,
the optics.
The optics. The message to the story here is, wear pants when you're doing things in a professional format using these systems like Zoom or Blue Jeans.
Don't dress halfway professional.
No,
if you're doing
don't
a
do it.
professional setting on a camera, just do the full thing.
For sure.
I got pants on.
For sure. Yeah, so do I. So do I. What else?
Know of.
Yeah, good point.
That's the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Top-down camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Zoom. Again, further Zoom phishing attacks.
this
We're
is a
seeing
good
more
one.
and more.
This is a good one.
So this is a couple phishing
That's a good one.
scams that have been seen by security researchers.
And again, what's phishing for those people who don't know what phishing
false
is?
messaging pretending to be someone else.
There you go.
And basically,
It's designed to get your personal information, right?
generally, username and password more specifically, but not always. And so researchers have seen HR meeting phishing emails through connecting. So basically the story is you get sent an email from your supposedly HR department, considering people are worried about jobs
That's right.
and that kind of stuff. People are probably a little more fearful what's happening in their security. So people are probably more willing to look past certain things, go, oh, I got an HR email from my company, connect to Zoom, which is then looking for a username or password, which can then further be exploited.
It's a good one. The pretext is just awesome, right? Because it's a very believable pretext, right? Yeah,
I'm sure tons of people are legitimately getting emails from their HR departments that
for
they've never received before.
And why? Because we all moved to home to do our work from home, right? So of course HR are going to stay connected with people at home. Thus, why the pretext is such an effective one for phishing. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what email is or message. Just take some time and analyze and make sure what you're
And
receiving.
maybe another important thing here is that if you do get a message from your HR department, rather than doing this, maybe phone your HR department first and say, hey, just want to confirm, did you program a Zoom meeting that you want me to connect to? And then you'll know right away if it's true or not, right?
Yeah. Interesting story coming out of United States. One U.S. attorney had, because courts are closed kind of thing, right? So one U.S. attorney was advising clients to use McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Hey, I wonder if the McBurglar uses this.
Oh, boy.
Do you remember that? The McBurglar?
It's a Hamburglar.
That's such
The Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar. I wonder if he used this.
Oh, man.
Just saying.
Oh, man. So the whole story is basically this thing called the digital divide.
Boomer joke.
And basically, some people in the world, even in North America, don't have easy access to the internet. They don't have Wi-Fi at home, or they don't have a smartphone with a data plan.
Schools are finding this, right?
Yeah.
Right. Some of the kids in schools just don't, because of socioeconomics or the lower locations, they just don't have the ability to connect to the internet. So some of them are using school buses that have Wi-Fi built into them as an access point. But I mean, hold on a second. Your order's up. Who ordered the Big Mac and fries? While you're talking to a judge or something like that.
I mean, so again, governments and judicial systems are still trying to proceed, but there are challenges because people, if you're going to have court on the internet or talk to a judge online, everyone needs that ability to access. I
think if McDonald's was smart, they would use that and bring back the Hamburglar again, right? As a marketing point.
Now, from a security standpoint, using open public Wi-Fi to connect to your attorney or a judge, there is some security issues attached with that.
So
if you're someone who doesn't have the financial ability to purchase your own internet source, you probably don't have the financial ability to implement a good VPNs or security and privacy tools.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, this is a public Wi-Fi hotspot, right? So our recommendations have always been, whenever doing things that are of any kind of intimate, personal information-wise, make sure that you're always using a VPN, right?
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, those also cost money. So the court where this was happening, the head of court security said, for the Teton County Sheriff said, well, basically what we did is we purchased a tablet and we sanitize it before every use, and people can come to the courthouse maintaining social distancing, and they'll be given the tablet to do their legal proceedings.
Guilty. Your fine is 12 McNuggets.
But
Another boomer joke.
But this just further emphasizes that digital divide, is that there are some people who don't have easy access to the internet, and using things like open public Wi-Fi to your legal proceedings is not a good security practice.
No, it's not.
So, I mean,
No, it's not. But I could see some of the homeless population maybe doing this, right? Because again, they don't have places usually to go, so they'll find open Wi-Fi's to do something like that. But
because people used to say, let's go to a public library. Guess what? Those are also closed.
yeah. Some of them are leaving their Wi-Fi's open though.
I have seen that too.
Yeah, they are. But again, whenever using an open Wi-Fi, it's open to everybody. Make sure wherever possible you're using a VPN.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next one.
Interesting security research, pulling some data for the last couple of years in terms of ransomware. It's basically a malicious program someone installs either intentionally or unintentionally because they were tricked to do it. The program infects their system, and they are then forced to pay a ransom, a fine, to unlock their computer. Researchers have shown in the last, little bit, in the first quarter of this year, the average payment for ransomware has gone up about 33%.
Yeah, we helped actually a U.S. company several weeks ago who got hit with this, and they ended up paying and stuff. So these individuals are really now starting to really target mom and pop type organizations because they recognize that they're not as secure as as the Walmarts of the world and stuff. And they know that these mom and pops, especially during COVID, money's a big deal to them right now. And if their internet is shut down, they've got no source of income. So that's why they're targeting them this way, and it should be something that we are absolutely aware of in what is going on. And there's a real controversy right now because most law enforcement will say, don't pay the ransom, right? Because all you're going to do is entitle them to do it again. But here's the issue. If I'm a small company and I need that information on my computer to do my business, if I don't pay that ransom, I lose my business, right? So I mean, it's all about a risk assessment. What's interesting, I was talking to a local Canadian network security professional who works in government. He says that here in Canada, I think he said over a quarter of those businesses who get hit with ransomware, in less than a year, they're out of business as a result of that, right? So I mean, what are some ways to protect yourself, Brandon, especially for the mom and pops that are watching us right now, and there are some that do that. What are some of the ideas we can recommend to them to help kind of prevent them from becoming more likely to be hit by ransomware?
I mean, generally it's prevention. Prevention in terms of being careful what you download, being careful of those phishing and manipulation emails and messages you may get from someone, but also having proper precautions on your systems, proper antivirus, proper protection. I mean, people don't like spending money on antivirus programs, but when you buy a computer, the business is not for them to keep supporting that computer with antivirus. It's your responsibility to buy something to protect that computer. And
what about the CIRA here in Canada? They came out with that Canadian Shield product, right, to help protect companies. Would that be something, and it's free if you're a CIRA member, could that be something that could help? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, you can, so that's a DNS internet directory system, and there's the Canadian version. There's 1.1.1.1, which is Cloudflare, or Google has their own DNS, which basically all the data but that's more complex. See, because that's great, but people will probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right.
Enough.
So like those are good precautions, but they take know-how and knowledge, and I would assume someone who might be infected with this stuff may not have that knowledge.
Those options aren't going to stop the spamming emails from coming in or the malware emails, right?
No. It helps direct your. It helps prevent you from going to a really bad web page.
There you go.
That's what it helps prevent. So it's a three-tier approach, basically, right? Yeah. You got your antivirus, you got your precautions, make sure what you download and connect to, and then maybe using a DNS protection.
Again, I think one of the simple is that if you ever get an email or a message or a link from somebody, you don't know who that somebody is, don't click the link. And even if you do know what it is, and if they're asking for personal information, phone that person first and make sure that they actually sent you that message, right?
Yeah.
So, simple.
Interesting story. A New Jersey school district
We're going to have a good discussion on this one.
using Zoom after a hacker streams porn and racist messages into a class that was happening. So,
okay, let her go. You had a really good one with this one, right? Yeah, I know.
Hacker.
I know.
Hacker.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, let's just get this straight here. Generally, these virtual meetings.
I'm just going to sit back and watch you
These
vent.
virtual meetings that take place,
Yep.
usually how it happens is you have a link
Yep.
and you send that link to your class.
Yes.
And anyone with that exact link,
Yes.
the same link,
Yes.
can connect into your classroom.
That's correct.
Unless you as the host put particular security in place, be it a password, or once everyone connects, you block anyone else from connecting afterwards.
Into the waiting room, right?
Yes.
So Zoom has the waiting room option where once you're in the waiting room, you can accept or deny from there. So something tells me that the educator probably didn't have proper security protocol in place on this.
I searched the internet for more details on the story, and
Yeah.
I found multiples of the same story happening. And I didn't find any news story that was telling me what was put in place prior to this,
Yeah.
and how the hack actually occurred.
And the reality too is that
It's a classic
we've-
Zoom bomb.
And we've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on some other platforms now where kids are talking about ways to do this, right?
Yeah.
They themselves are doing it. Like
Here's the thing.
what's to stop a student who has a second laptop with a VPN to change their IP address from using that laptop once they're connected in to now send the porn without the teacher knowing who's
Yeah,
doing it?
because if it's an open, seriously, if it's an open unlisted link,
Yes.
meaning anyone in the world can connect,
Yeah,
it's not a hack
yeah,
because it's public.
Yeah.
It's not a hack.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, and the reality is, we know, because we've seen it anecdotally, that these kids are doing things, or not all of them. Again, I don't want to paint them all with the same brush, because that's not fair, because most of them are doing super uber cool things. But in every school, I think we said this in the last YouTube that we did, where when I was in high school, where we didn't have the internet, we had a very small percentage, teeny, that if they wanted to get on an exam or really tick teachers off, they'd pull the fire alarms in the schools to disrupt the school, right? So it shouldn't surprise us that there's going to be a minority, very small minority, who are going to do things like this to disrupt the class online, right? And so this is why it is so important that teachers are up to speed on the proper protocols and security processes in place to help minimize this.
yeah,
So, anyways.
hacker.
What's this next one? This one's interesting, right?
So EFF, the Electronic Freedom Frontier, which is the world's largest privacy.
You really like these guys, right? EFF?
Most security people like these people.
Yeah.
They're all about internet freedom, access, and privacy and security. So the EFF has been posing some legitimate questions in the development of these COVID phone tracking surveillance apps that are being apparently built by Google and Apple, as well as governments doing their own version. So a couple concerns is obviously great right now to help this current issue, but the challenge is of the data being collected from people and their locations and their proximity to other people, how can that data be utilized after COVID when things go back to whatever normal will be? How can that be used against those people? How can governments leverage this data for their own particular benefit?
I mean, they're telling us that they're anonymizing the information that they're collecting, but really,
Remember,
like, there's
three
going to be...
pieces of random data about you that's anonymized can be linked back to you.
Yeah, I understand what they're trying to do, right? I really do. But the issue of privacy and Big Brother and how state government could potentially, in countries, could potentially use that information to form a part of your digital dossier is concerning, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that privacy commissioners are involved in this, and I don't think a lot of them have come out with any kind of findings yet.
Right.
But I mean, another question I have is, we were talking about this, could this be weaponized?
Well, on the article on the other side by Threat Post, someone from the EFF was talking about how do these Bluetooth signals, how do you verify a Bluetooth signal coming from someone's phone is a legitimate signal? So basically, here's the hypothesis, here's the thought experiment. Basically, what if I broadcast a Bluetooth signal from my phone?
And we've seen that. Remember that one you brought where the guy had the little wagon, the pulling wagon, little red wagon. He put all those cell phones in it, and he was
Creating traffic jams?
Yeah, creating traffic jams,
Yeah.
right? Okay, but continue. That's kind of like that, right?
So what if I get my phone and I manipulate my Bluetooth signal and I purposely send out a positive COVID signal. And I just walk around and people are receiving that signal and then freaking out.
Oh, yeah, like I could see like state bad actors, Russia, potentially weaponizing that. Like if you wanted to cause panic in a city, what better way to do it than that, right? Like just do exactly what it is you said.
So, I mean, these apps are all good and good intentions, but these are also being rushed out. So, and when things get rushed, security, privacy, and coding, there's always chances for mistakes.
So that's where zero-day exploits become issues, right?
Yes.
Because like you say, they're pushing up so quickly that maybe there's not enough due diligence, or even if there is, humans being humans, we make mistakes. There could be some zero exploits that could potentially be problematic for us.
Potentially. Right? I mean, Alberta here in Canada, they're beginning to launch their app to do the same thing using Bluetooth. Yeah. And basically how it works is it's opt-in, so everyone opts in. So what that means is it's not mandatory, which is good.
So why would I want to opt in? Like I see a lot of people are going to go, why would I want to opt into this? Like, are you
I think
kidding
the thing is for people who opt in to be vigilant of other people around them. So people may want to opt in. So if someone around them has COVID, their phone gets a ding. But again, for those people who are also positive for COVID, they also have to opt in. So why would I want, let's say hypothetically I test positive, why would I want to opt in for an app like this?
Yeah, because I mean, people are going to look at you too, because if you're the only person that's close to me and my phone dings, obviously I'm going to go, hey, it's you.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure like the logistics of this in terms of people are only going to sign up if they don't have. I don't see people who have it will sign up.
I know what they're attempting to do, and I applaud them for it, right? And everything we can do to try to minimize the contagion of this epidemic for sure. But my gut tells me from a privacy standpoint that there's just too many unknowns here. And again, on a risk balance standpoint, I think we're doing pretty good with everything else that we put in place right now, especially here in Canada, especially here in BC. That is it really something that we want to put in place before we actually know what some of the consequences are going to be?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I can tell you, I won't be signing up for any of these kind of apps.
Neither will I. Like it's a real concern to me. It really is, right?
Yeah.
So,
last thing, Apple FaceTime in their current beta program, it looks like they are making some changes to the layout to be more conforming to what kind of Google Hangouts does, Zoom and BlueJeans and all these other apps.
I wonder why they're doing that.
Looks
probably because they were losing market share because of the way that FaceTime was set up, and
surprise, they're going to lose market share because FaceTime only works for Apple products.
Yeah,
Zoom works for all platforms.
But you know what's cool about FaceTime? Encrypted end to end.
True.
That's one of the benefits of FaceTime, right?
But then again, how many people care about that?
Well, some people may. I mean, kids today and even adults.
And if you have to talk to someone who doesn't have an iPhone, you have no choice in the matter.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. That's why kids are going to, house party is another option that the kids are using as an app on their phone. But again, it's not encrypted end to end and stuff. But, it's convenient. And the reality is a lot of schools that we go to, at least this is what I find at the high school level, I would say the high 90% of kids at every school I go to are iPhone users now. High into the 90s percent. I don't know what it's like with you with the younger kids and stuff. So in fact, we recommend for younger kids, always start with the Android phone first, right?
Yeah.
Right. But kind of cool. But it's obvious to me that the reason they're doing that is because the new face-to-face conferencing type of platforms are the thing right now, making all the money, and they want to get back in the game. And people of FaceTime were complaining that the present one that they were using, the icons that you see were different different sizes. They were hard to follow, and so
and it was whoever was talking automatically popped up first, and you had no
Yeah.
control over that.
Exactly.
Unlike with Zoom and other apps, you can control how you see the other people in your call.
So I mean, good on Apple from listening to their clients, saying this is what we want, and they did it. And obviously, they did it as well from a financial standpoint because it's a benefit of them because they know that Zoom. I mean, so many people are going after the Zoom market right now, right? Because Zoom is just they're rocket ship right now, right? So, and with that came all the controversy. But you know, big credit to the CEO of that company. He said, "Mea culpa." Yeah, you're right. There's all kinds of issues with our product, but they're fixing it, and they've done a lot of really cool things over the past little while. So, good show today.
Alrighty.
Yeah, good show. I like the hamburger.
Hamburger.
I thought that was cool, right?
Don't do your legal things on open public Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because if you do, you'll be sentenced by a judge and you'll have to pay 12 McNuggets or a Big Mac, right, as a result, right? Or as I'm talking to the judge, chomping into my Big Mac, right? So kind of cool. So on behalf of myself, really good session. I'm Darren. You dropped your mic. Who are you?
I'm Brandon.
Thank you for tuning in to today's YouTube event, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.